All right, so everybody can see my eyebrows are not freshly plucked. Awesome. Okay, so tonight we're doing Tablebreakers episode 38. This is our third in the series where we will discuss encounter design and go into some various different systems, and we will have a good discussion with various people on how to keep your players continuously entertained. We're trying to do that for our own home games as well. We want to focus on keeping butts in the seats, because without us keeping butts in the seats at our own tables, a DM is worthless. If a DM doesn't have the ability to do that, that happens. So let me bring in my panel right now. Please welcome Baron G-Rock. Hello, sir.
Hello.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right.
Excellent. Please welcome Shadow and Sun.
Howdy, folks.
How are you doing tonight, sir?
Not too bad, all things considered.
I can't wait for Sunday. That's all I'm going to say.
Sunday? What about Saturday, you fucker?
Oh, no. Sunday's going to be your grand ripping of Jim Butcher.
Yeah.
Hey, Multi-Gun Man. How you doing, sir? Let me get these guys pulled in here. Hey, Connell. How are you doing, sir?
Good to see you, Multi.
Good. I'm thinking I might need to drag Jade into come visiting us on Sunday so we could talk this out.
No.
I think it'd be a good idea. Please welcome Chimerian, our ranter extraordinaire.
Hello.
He doesn't look like much right now. Give him a few minutes, and we're going to feed him some information, some ideas, and then we're going to pull the cord.
Actually, no, it's the other direction with them. But anyways.
Yes.
I use Chimerian as his test bed for ideas.
Hit.
Usually says yes or no.
Yes, no.
Jade, how are you doing tonight?
Doing fantastic.
Good.
He looks so happy after being mentioned that he might be dragged into the Sunday chat. Granted, in the past he has, not once, but on several different occasions. Like, ooh, once you get to Grave Peril, let me know. I might have to come visit. Like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I love Dresden after book 3. So anyway,
not so much that guy.
Book 2
I
was
said
a
after book 3.
changeover. Book 2 was a changeover point where you start seeing there's a bigger world, and then in book 3, he just kind of like crowbars it all open.
I'm gonna need a cigar.
I don't envy Dresden. Let's put it that way.
Jaden was in a prime spot because you had some really good ideas as to what's going on. And
So put him where I'm at.
Say again?
So put him where I'm at.
All right.
Hey, Mark.
There you go.
How are you doing tonight, Garrett?
Well, I don't look as burnt as I was on Saturday.
Oh my God.
Well, typically, whenever we see you on camera, if you had 15 minutes of sun exposure, you look like an Irish roofer.
Yeah, I was out for hours on Saturday, and yeah, I was full on reverse trash panda going on with that sunglasses on. So I had the white rings here, and the rest was red.
If you don't mind sharing, what were you up to that left you lobster?
I was down at the riverfront for the Pride Fest down there. Some friends of mine asked me to go down there and everything else, so I did.
Peoria has a big Pride Festival.
My daughter was down there. Maggie, her birthday was actually yesterday. She turned 12 years old. And I'm thinking, have we passed 30 seconds? How the fuck did that happen?
We're at minute 5 almost, so go ahead and let the foxtrot fly.
Yeah. How did you not get killed? That's the question you should ask yourself.
No, my Maggie was down there with my ex-wife and a couple other people. They had a good time.
Yeah, I didn't see her down there, but that don't mean anything.
Well, it's Corona. Do you really want to see her?
Yeah.
Karanda's nice to look at. She's just better.
Batshit crazy.
Oh, I treat her like Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle, I can watch almost doing anything, but I never listen to things she has. It's always on mute. It's the secret. I know that sounds terrible, but whatever. Jade, I'm giving you the reins, and
okay.
please, sir. We want to talk about encounter design, and I really want to learn. I really want to learn how to keep players involved with the game, and I don't need to have game balance as a mitigating factor. I don't need big corporate terms, but I need to make my table fun for the players involved, because I don't want them to go away. I want them to stick around. I want them to play. I want them to develop characters. I want them to have a history in this world.
Okay.
So,
yeah. So the last 2 weeks we've talked about what is encounters and what encounters you can employ in your games. And then we also talked about designing or theory behind encounters, like what makes an encounter. Where we talked about the 3 T's, the timers, the threats, the treats, the 3 dials we as GMs can turn: the damage, the duration, and the sorry, words are escaping me today. Was not expecting to have to lead this discussion personally, but that's fine. Or the disruption. That's the word that's the other D word I was looking for, is disruption. So with those elements all combined, we can build encounters in a kind of a compelling way, in a leading way to a lot of extents. Because we're trying to get our players to go somewhere, wherever that might be, where we're trying to get them to the end of the campaign, the end of a module, the end of an encounter, the end of an arc, a story arc. Some might call that, a story act. Some might call that, just trying to get through, the night or the session, end of the session. So to build upon that, we need to think of, like, what do we like in stories, encounters? What have we experienced as players that we were like, hey, that encounter was so pivotal? Like, what about that encounter did we like? I know I'm kind of all over the place here tonight because I don't have notes today. It's been a long week for me. I'm going to be floundering just a little bit, but that's fine. Now, you said you don't care about encounter balance, and that's a good thing. You shouldn't have to balance your encounters. Now, I know the concepts and theories behind D&D 3.0 through current edition, whatever the current edition might be at the time that you're watching this at home. They rely a lot upon challenge rating or CR values and trying to keep them in balance with the party. And here's why you don't necessarily want to do that. In some cases, you want to challenge your party, but your party raffle stomps through literally everything you throw at them, be it because of tactics or power curve. What can you do? You unbalance the encounter on purpose. You make it tough enough, but still allow them to have doors and exits so that if they ever get in too thick, they can leave. So, I'm going to start with that. Do you guys ever balance your games? Or do you just let it go and see what the players do? I'm going to start with you, Shadow.
Yes and no. In the beginning, Kai, can't hear me?
I can hear you. Just the no, Travis. No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you don't swing that way. In the beginning, like I said before, you kind of got to give them at the very least, a fair shake. You got to give them some fairness. Otherwise, it's going to be nothing but a never-ending session of session zeros while people make up new characters. I hate to be that way, but in AD&D, when you could literally start out with 1 hit point, and that's your character, you have to baby them to some extent. You have to not necessarily baby them, but give them a fair fight. If you start throwing out things that they just can't fight and beat at level 1, they're either going to run away and you're going to get a half party kill or a total party kill. Either way, it's going to be a very incredibly boring game where they're just struggling not to bleed to death because they can't hit and they can't do any damage, but they can sure suck it up and die and then just tear up the sheets and make a new one or go, maybe this isn't the game for me. Maybe you're not the DM for me. Later on down the road, once they hit a couple of bumps where they've got, anywhere from 10 to 20 hit points, then you can open up the throttle a little and bring bigger and nastier things. But again, if you don't mind spending nights and wasting your time and discouraging your players by killing them off fairly, then that's cool. I know a lot of people that would rather play a video game than make up a second character in the same night. And I don't blame them at all. It's not, people now have to pay, upwards of $8 a gallon for gas. They've got to spend their hard-earned time, which in my book, your free time is always time and a half, double time, or more, depending on how you get paid at your job. If you were at work right now, what would you be getting paid? Probably time and a half, right?
I don't know if I want to answer that question.
Not
or
yet.
double time. Or double time, depending on how far in the week you are, okay? And if it's your weekend...
On a Thursday night, I'm at $40 an hour right now.
All right. Do you want to spend that hour making up a character and then making up another character? No.
Not really. Not for my game.
Nobody does. Anybody who says they like making up characters more than they like playing, they're probably watching the wrong show.
I don't know about that.
Crafty.
I don't mind making new characters, especially as long as the character died in a good way before, and it's early enough in the night.
At first level, there is no good death unless you die so that everybody else can live. And then what's going to happen? They're going to go back to town and bring you right back as a different character. That's stupid in the way of a story. That doesn't tell well. Oh, yeah, our good friend saved our life. What'd you do? We ran home and hired somebody else who looked just like him. Once you get past a certain couple of hurdles, though, you should feel free. I was in a game a little while ago where we ran into some creatures that I was certain were going to have like 60, 80 hit points apiece, and it turned out they had like 40 because the DM actually rolled the dice. I'm like, oh wow, okay, cool. So I was able to take out the equivalent of one of them by myself sooner than I had any thought that I would be able to, and I'm like, okay, all right, this is what that used to be like. So I realize, AD&D is a lot different than anything that's being played right now. Where you can start off with 20, 30, even 50 hit points depending on the game, etc. But try remembering what it was like playing with less than 5, less than 10 hit points. Yeah, nobody here can even...
That mindset is okay because I'm going to just tell you that no matter what RPG we're playing, a two-handed sword or a great sword will cover 3.5 to 5 feet of length of blade. A dagger usually is about 4 to 6 inches. Either one of those have been proven time and time again to be absolutely fatal. It didn't matter how many hit points or pints of blood they had. If you're good in combat, If you're able to use your weapon effectively, the other person's going to fall apart. And I know that sounds kind of roughshod, but I run a game that does have high hit points. At the same time, all it takes is 1 or 2 critical hits, and somebody who is resting peaceably in triple digits, thinking their life was on gravy train easy street, all of a sudden they're going, oh my god, I need some help, guys, help. They're acting like a thought in the middle of a New York apartment who set her kitchen on fire because she doesn't understand what grease does to a stove. Oh wait, did I say that? I'm sorry.
What about you, Connell? You have to balance your encounters early on, like Shadow does?
No.
Or does the modules automatically have them balanced for you?
The modules have them balanced to a certain degree. They do have them balanced. But I do like to step off the...
I didn't hear anything.
What do you mean didn't hear anything? I'm confused.
That was weird.
Are you
Yeah,
okay,
I'm confused too.
Kai, are you okay?
I'm okay. Why are you asking? I just got quiet.
Oh, he's lagging. He's lagging, that's why.
Okay, he's got lag. I'm sorry, Kai.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
my bad.
No, you're fine.
Hold on. Let me grab it. Fuck you too. Anyways, this book right here has most of the counters balanced to a certain degree. There is one encounter in here called the Black Maga. The Black Maga is a creature that you find in the bottom of the lake. The book says do not expect your party to be able to kill the creature. You just have to keep them busy for 10 rounds. If they do kill said creature, good for them. It's okay to kill the players, though. So, with that being said, yes, this is a module play. This is also the anniversary of the game. Bruce, you know which counter I'm talking about, right?
You're talking about Black Maga?
Yeah.
Big beast that washes up into a town? Yes.
Its tentacles can hop through dimensions and grab you from there'll be a building between you and it, and a portal will open and a tentacle will come out of it and grab you and bounce your head off that building a few times. So
the Black Maga is a really rough encounter if the DM rolls moderately well, because you're going to have a large amount of hit point damage off a multiple tentacle or multiple attack creature be distributed amongst the players. And you could have a half PK right there.
yeah. So yes, in module's first level is fairly simple, but that also depends on what system you're running this module out of. 5e, if I want to balance it, even in the first encounter, there's 13 goblins with 4 players. I got to get rid of at least 4 of them, or it will be a complete party kill because of the difference of the two systems. But I don't. Here's why. Because in my opinion, if you balance even at the get-go, it's not that you're cheating the players, but you're underestimating their ability. I play half the time when I play with guys who like to break characters, they being with Pathfinder or 3.5, because yes, there's ways to break 5e characters that's been done already. So I gotta show up at the table with both guns loaded, or they're just gonna run my show. I don't want them to run my show. Jade, when you're running, do you want your players to run your show?
Absolutely.
Do you really?
If my players are running the story, you know what I got to do?
Sit back
All I
and
got to do
drink
is throw
coffee?
shit in their way. All I have to do is throw shit in their way. If they're the ones running the story, the player agency thing, and they get to decide where they're going, when they're going, how they're getting there, that's less work I have to do. All I've got to do is figure out what's in their damn way and why it's there.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Max, I
And then
completely
they need
agree
to
with
figure out why was it there.
Right, Max, I completely agree with you. But 3.5 Pathfinder has made it okay for the characters to find ways in game, using in game tactics and rules as written, to
Most of
break
the
their
rules.
characters. Yeah. So I got to bring, when I sit down at the table, I got to make sure I got what I'm going to do on lockdown, or it's just going to be a long night with me twirling my thumbs.
Okay,
So no,
you like to actually handle the reins and steer the coach where it's supposed to go.
Right. Do I want murder hobos at my campaigns? No. And I'm trying to actually steer away from that with the people I'm playing with. On Monday night, I really don't have that problem. But on the nights I DM for money, I get that. Why not to do this at third level? Congratulations. Apparently, none of you guys know how to, the concept of it. But, I'll run this show. So if you're starting, though, to be fair, Shadow, in the last 3-4 edition, no one starts at first level with 1 hit point. It's 10 plus.
Yeah, I get that.
So, and I'm also gaming for grown men. And if they start crying at the table because their characters die, they got 3 other people at the table is going to give them shit for the rest of the night. All I got to do is crack my beer and watch the show. That's all when that happens. So that's my answer. I'm in a weird mood tonight. I'm sorry, guys.
All right, Kai, same question. Do you find that you've got to balance or tone things back in early game for your players, or do you just throw them into the middle of a meat grinder and say good luck?
Honestly, here's the magic thing that works for my campaigns. It just, after running for so many years and not really caring because of the fact that, honestly, if you're just going to be playing with a level-based game, I can simplify it down to, and honestly, all those levels and all that bullshit means absolutely nothing. I would simplify it down to it. Sorry.
Someone's echoing.
Sorry, that was me.
I can boil it all down to this magic thing of it doesn't really matter what level they are. Did they roll a 10? Cool. Because when you look at all these charts, all these books, all these monsters, you realize, okay, did they roll a 10? Did they roll a 12? Did they roll a 14? Okay, it's an appropriate level. I adjust, and then you follow all these numbers, and then you figure out that, well, the entire world revolves around, did you roll a 10? Did you roll a 12? Is that really all it comes down to? And when you run a percentile game, did you, after modifiers, did you roll a certain number? Cool. You passed. Honestly, a lot of this just boils down to is after a while, it just comes down to is you did a lot of hit points. Obviously, you did. Everyone's got what? X number of hit points. Everyone's got X number of attacks. Cool. I run through this chart and go, okay, you guys can do X amount of XP for damage. Whoop-de-doo. It's so brain deadly easy anymore that I can play it entirely by ear. And then they can all figure it out secretly in the background and go, ooh, I figured out I could put in hours of work fine-tuning a beautiful monster, then realize that, oh, okay, they need a 14 to hit. That's it. That's the entirety of all my equations have come down to. The 10th level character who's got all of his bonuses and stats lined up needs only a 15 to hit. That's all he's got to do. Okay, cool. Well, what about the weaker characters? He needs a 17 to hit, an 18 to hit. It's a tough fight. Woo! Did they roll their dice? Am I trying to set up for them to do teamwork and gang up and, bum rush this poor bastard into the ground? Okay, I'll set it to they need a 17 to hit. Now they all group around. Now it's a 15. Ooh, now they got other bonuses, inspirations. Okay, it's a 14 now. That means they'll hit approximately X amount of times per round. This is how much hit points they're gonna wipe out. Okay, figure it all out, and cool. There's the entire encounter balanced out. What used to take hours of planning has just degenerated down to, here you go. And like what used to be sheets of stats have just degenerated down to here we go. I can do this now in my sleep. Boring. I'm going to move on with my life. That's literally the game. And if I want to, and write down damage. Okay, they need to be able to do X amount of damage to be able to bring a player down. Cool. Now I can focus, because I've got the mechanics are all brainless and thought out. I can now focus on what the players are doing, make the game interesting for the players. Now, when they do something cool, I can go, that works or that doesn't work. Because why? The same thing goes for your skill checks. Did you roll an X number? Cool. You got it. Because honestly, it doesn't matter what level you are. It's a level appropriate challenge because all that number changes with you. What the fuck are you doing? Why are you bothering with all this complex bullshit? The game has been so boring now. Like, this is why I prefer to play a much more entertaining games that use different mechanics. But we all want to revolve around level-based bullshit. That's what we do. And they all come back. They're all liking it because the game is fun. The encounters are fun. But like, man, you need so much prep. I'm like, once I did, but now it's just so brainless. I don't need prep anymore. This because the game is brainless. The encounters are brainless. Now all I gotta figure out is a gimmick to make it fun. And yes, the monsters don't matter because the monsters do know what they're doing.
All right.
Okay, who wants to follow that up?
Garrett. Who wants to follow that up, Garrett? I think you're muted, sir.
That's it. Talk shit to me and the computer shuts your volume off. I like this.
Yeah.
That's weird. Didn't happen to me.
His mic might have died.
You know, it's like somebody walking around the house saying, "Where's my glasses?" when they're really right here. They just need to pull them down. I'm wondering if it's one of those.
All right, Bruce, I'm going to move on to you while Garrett is still working out his audio issues. So I already know you don't care for balance, Bruce, because you said that at the very beginning. You didn't want to worry too much about.
I don't see a reason for balance. All the balance ever really does for the type of campaign we're talking about tonight, where you're having like the end of a story arc or the end of Act 1. This should be a challenging encounter. So when I say challenging encounter, the risk of one or two people dying should be pretty significant.
Okay.
I mean, hell, I died in this campaign twice. Still playing the same character though.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can, sir.
Ooh. So yeah, kind of the same along the same lines. It truthfully, I don't do a lot of prep either. I have a few plot points that I have written out. 9 times out of 10, I roll a d6, whatever it lands on. Okay, this is what we're going with. And and it's like I've said before, when I'm doing a campaign, I know where point A and point B are, and I know what's going to happen when they get to point B. It's what I find fun with it is, and my players do too, is the adventure going from point A to point B because nothing's scripted out. I mean, you could be, for instance, in the last one that the Pathfinder game I was running, the cleric was on night watch. She completely failed her perception check and got bit on the ass by a giant ant. And it was funny because she got bit on the ass with the pinchers It didn't kill her or anything else. It just and her butt swelled 3 times the size. So that was more for Bruce than anything else when he goes back and watches that, because I know he likes the big booties. So, but no, on the serious side, it doesn't have to be a deathly thing, and truthfully, you don't even have to kill the characters. They'll kill themselves. They'll fumble a climb check and drop 40 feet
with enough rope to do anything.
At first level. The old adage: give them enough rope, they'll hang themselves. Well, they don't hang themselves. Sometimes they fall off and go splat. That happened, and I didn't do anything but say, "Roll the check," and it was. Yeah, and it was the same character that got bitten on the ass by the ant. So evidently it was a weight distribution issue. I'm not sure, but it kind of happened. But yeah, I mean, the thing is that, when you're looking at things, you want to keep it fun. You want to, and above and beyond, the actual fun, you want to tell an enjoyable story.
Drink.
Yes, I said it. Drink. I said story. Drink.
What? You're not drinking?
But no. Because anything that the character does, and I've done a video on this before, is it feeds into the story. If that player rolls a die to see if they see something, that plays into the story. If a player, rolls to attack, it feeds into the story. If they're doing crafting or even haggling, it feeds into the story. Every single thing that happens that the players or the GM does feeds into the story. Ever so minor, they could get this awesome check where they were able to get a huge discount at this store, and they're going to talk about that. They may not remember, the 2 or 3 kobolds that they had to kill off at first level, but you know what? They'll remember that they made that epic freaking roll and got stuff for cheap. And that's the thing, is that the encounters themselves don't matter. It's how they play out that matters, because it forwards the story.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to move on to the next topic. You got something to add?
No.
No? Okay. So, Bruce, you and I had a kind of a Discord conversation earlier in the week, because I was kind of lost as far as what we were going to be doing for part 3 of encounter building, and you'd hit on a subject of let's go over like the final battle or the final encounter of the first act. Now, this is a kind of a confusion of terms between you and me. I use story arcs and multiple arcs within a campaign. You use acts, like multiple acts of a campaign, with each of them with their own, 3-act structure within. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm not going to get into the terms so much. But you said something about a campaign should be usually 20 to 25 sessions, or an act should be 20 to 25 sessions, and the final encounter should be really meaningful. And what do we do to make things meaningful? How do we make encounters truly meaningful to either the story, if that's your purview, or to the campaign as a whole, the game as a whole, or to even just the players? How do we, make something so poignant that they talk about it the entire next week after and go, I can't wait to see what happens next? These are the things that, most game masters that I have met, younger game masters, that is, struggle with. It's, how do I really rope my players into this epic encounter, without it being epic? Without it being so grand and so, above level 20 and all that nonsense. And I think the best way to do it is model it after cinema to an extent. Model it after even playwrights, if that's your thing, or books. Go to the end, the last few chapters of your favorite book. Go to the last, 20 to 30 minutes of your favorite film. Somewhere in there is the little things that bring you back to the film or bring you back to the book or narrative in some way. It's identifying those things that bring you back to it that you should include in your encounters. Like, let's use A New Hope, for example. The final battle of A New Hope takes place at the Death Star. Everybody knows the scenes I'm talking about. You've got Red 5, you've got Luke and his X-Wing.
Gold Leader.
They're all, Gold Leader. They're all attacking the Death Star. What makes that scene so memorable, though? Is it the ace combat flight? Is it all the call signs back and forth? What about that scene really stands out in your mind? It's the uncertainty of knowing what failure might bring. If the rebels fail to take out the Death Star, what's going to happen? Because the stakes can't get higher for them. The world they're on is about to be literally atomized. And they've got nowhere to run afterward. So it's about setting up your encounters to where the stakes cannot be higher, where the players, if they fail, all becomes lost for now. There might be a fallback point. They might be able to retreat and come back and still save the day, but they're going to be hurting for it. So what can we do with encounters to set up the stakes to be that high? With this, I'm going to start with Bruce.
Well, what I would usually do, I look at my players and their output. And so, like, say the end of a campaign arc for me with the group I've got right now, I'm going to say that on average I have 6 players and they're playing roughly about 8th to 9th level. So I'm going to measure hit dice, because that's the old way of doing CR. You just look at the hit dice versus the amount of players at the table. And then I go from there. And I typically will use that method for scripting an encounter. And to keep the players entertained, the end of the act should be a rough bit of socialization or social RP mixed in with it, because it shouldn't be just a purely mechanical contest. You can do that. Guys like Kai and me, we would appreciate it, but you have a moment where you have a chance to let the players shine with their individual gifts, their charisma, their ability to try to get into character. You might have a guy that is playing a character that nobody has valued up till now because he hasn't really stepped in the spotlight. After this encounter, in about 10 minutes, things will change. And so I would say that, like, whenever we had our end of Act 1 campaign encounter, I knew I didn't want the players to actually engage. But I'm going to reinforce what I had happen. The players were chasing a rogue bugbear through the wilderness, and he ran into a hall, a place to get himself healing and maybe a warm bed. We don't know. The players followed him in, and he took a few jukes and lost the party. The party thought they found him at a portal. And then the party teleported to a big blue dragon and a bunch of other high-level characters. And I was okay with ending that campaign night right there. I was completely okay with it, because I wanted the players to just kind of sit back and go like, oh, wait, we're fighting not only hobgoblins and giants, but we're fighting a dragon too. And I wanted them just to have that discussion amongst themselves, not be stare at your blank character sheet and imagine all the damage that you'll be incurring here in the next few minutes. Not that. I want the players to think ahead and start plotting accordingly. And I that was what I was expecting that night. Does that make sense for you, Jade?
Yeah, that makes sense. That at that point you've ratcheted the tension up just before the end of session, and they've got all week to stew on it. That's actually a really good tactic. Those cliffhanger tactics are really good to employ against your players to get them to want to come back the next week going, okay, I have to see this through. I have to know what happens. That's how a lot of authors do it with books too. They'll end a chapter right there at the cliffhanger.
Yep.
I'm going to move on to Baron G. So what do you do to ratchet up the stakes, to ratchet up that tension? We've already heard Bruce likes to leave cliffhangers. What do you like to do? Cliffhangers, or do you do something differently?
I usually will go ahead and do cliffhangers just because it's like though what I tend to like to do is to, especially if it starts getting a little bit later in the night, like until the players are starting to get, a little out of it, it happens. Where you can tell the players have reached the end of the night for themselves because that's when they walk into a room and then they see XYZ, and that's where we're going to pause it until next week. And then they're all wondering what's going to happen, what's going on, and then they either get that fear of oh shit, or they get that oh shit, type of thing where they everything is clicked coming up to this point, and they know what's basically this is going to be the big boss fight. This is going to be the okay. This is the end of this leg of the adventure, and oh, I hope we can take that out, because typically it likes to be giants or not necessarily a dragon, but there are worse things. Pixies are fun. Pixies are all kinds of fun because they are invisible and they go confuse. And sometimes you just want to throw some crazy stuff at them and then go, oh well. Then you all wake up and you're in this room with a bunch of crystals, and it seems to be some kind of training area.
Don't you dare Mario to me.
Oh yeah. Oh. Sorry. The fight is in another castle. and you go from there, and I do enjoy doing that. I know a lot of GMs don't do that too often. I like to do that at least once in a campaign because, the whole thing of, great power comes with great responsibility. A lot of times they don't realize that until they get into a situation where that actually comes to play. And I really like to hit home that, yes, you all have great power. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to go be that murder hobo? Or are you going to do what's right for the kingdom, for the town, for whatever set them on this path? Are they going to do right by it? No. Well, yes, murder hobos do get pay, but they get a lot more pay if they don't murder hobo. And a lot of players don't realize that. Yes, they can murder everything in sight, but they may accidentally murder an envoy from a king, and that king is now upset because that envoy was supposed to go set up a peace treaty with this kingdom. But they don't realize that until maybe after the fact when they're going through reading the missives that have been sent. And then they're like,
now it's their job to go make peace between kingdoms. Good luck.
Or even worse, they may not even get that chance because the king may have had some people following him to make sure that nothing went wrong. And then all of a sudden, because they haven't heard anything in maybe a month, and then later on down the road, they're attacked by a much bigger party. No bananas for you.
All right.
The wife gets no bananas.
All right, Kai. I think you said you wanted to circle back to something in private chat. No, you're good on that? Okay. You are muted, sir. Yep.
Shit. Fucking hell.
No, you're fine.
Fuck this whole thing. Okay, anyway, no, I am not going back because there's no point going back.
Okay.
Rearview mirror show the past. We're going forward. But so how you're trying to build up to things?
Yeah.
You should
Build up your tension.
You should literally be building that tension up 2 to 3 sessions before you get to the end. This is what I was trying to say in private chat on a couple previous days. This is why that the left hook that comes out of nowhere that hits your party sits so poorly. Because it's like, oh, we're all building up to this climax. It's going to be an awesome scene. And then out of nowhere, you're like, and a dragon shows up. And you're like, where the fuck did the dragon come from? You've been building up our entire threat being the Orcish Horde. Where did the dragon come from? Dragon now. Fuck you. Arc changed. You've actually, at that point, you've taken whatever climax you were building up towards and thrown it out the window because you wanted to have a scaly fucking retard lizard show up and breathe fire. Because that's all you know how to make a good threat with. Or demons showed up. You've given us zero indication of demons. Well, there's demons. Okay, congrats. Yay, we're gonna go we're gonna go fight demons now. But you haven't given them a good climax. But if you've done it right, you've literally, so your entire campaign, your party has been building up towards, and these should be like fights. Like you've been uncovering, a horrible tragedy this tragedy has been happening. And, you've been fighting your way through a facility, and you find out that wait, the dwarves were actually part of a vast project trying to figure out how to overthrow this. You've been fighting all these various other threats that you've been building up towards. Suddenly, you fight, this great dwarven war machine that's being driven by it, and you beat that, and the guy's like going, no, but you don't realize what I've been actually working on, and then you point towards the explosion that's happening on a mountain range. As you guys come out of the hole, you look out of a mountain range. Well, that thing that he's been warning you about explodes. Oh shit! Now here comes the actual final fight. You're at of that arc. You had better have been keeping the theme of your story, moving it forward, and following how a book functions, how a movie functions, how a game functions. This isn't just simply, I open up Monster Manual, roll a d4, Monster Manual 4, roll 3d10, page number 223 of Monster Manual 4. It is a superior, awesome, badassy monster with templates attached to it. He very tough. We've been fighting none of those things. I know, but I'm a boring, shitty GM, and this is how I run. And suddenly you're like, okay, cool, we're fighting this thing. What's it? Fuck it. But no, if you've been your players have been engaged, you've been playing a good. Yes, Dinobots should erupt from the individual mountain, or in the case of giant war turtle that's on kaiju levels, like, oh shit, it's, mind you, this is after you're hit by the explosion, you should be engaging them. The story should be literally pointing you towards this direction, and you finally get to see it, and yeah, you're like, oh crap, and you should give them a little bit of time to go, oh, are you sure? Are you sure you're going to go be big damn heroes, or are you going to be cowards and let the world burn? Most of the time, players are like, I'm going to be a big damn hero, and they're going to go walk into that fire and go fight the villain. Why? Because hopefully you've been making them into wanting to be heroes, be the guys who are here to stop, gigantic war turtle who's now going to destroy the world. From being able to go out and destroy the world. Fuck it. You should be doing your job. They should be wanting to do this shit. And yes, give them the hey, think about it. Think about it, guys. You guys, I know, hey guys, it's about 9:30, and I don't want to start a a major boss fight really bad, and I've done this before where I thought I had a really cool scenario set up, and the party butchered it. You know, they came in, oh shit, fired everything like an alpha strike, blew the villain up, and I'm like, well, that was supposed to be more dramatic. And then I'm like, second forward time. Why? Because now they're engaged. They want this shit. They've been programmed by books and everything, and you're here to give them a good game, a good story. Let them have it. Do what you can and make it fun. And if they die, they die. Whoop-de-doo. But let them actually, you know, be the, like, if they've been building to be heroes, let them be heroes. If one guy goes, I'm a coward and I want to run, let them run away. And, you know, let everyone else fight. You should be doing your job. This is the climax to an arc. You know, if it is a shape change dragon who has been involved in everything, hopefully you've been giving them hints that this is what's going to happen. So they go into this prepared. And that's the thing about being the end of the arc. Your players should be prepared to fight it. They might be beaten up, bloody, out of resources, or hurting, but they should be prepared to go into what they're doing, and you should know what they're doing before they go into it. And when they go, like, don't let them go, well, I guess I have whatever. No. If they're not ready, you've been doing a shitty job as a GM, and, well, you should be slapped of your GM status, or your players should have more fun. There you go.
I was personally attacked at that. A couple of those statements, weirdly enough. That doesn't happen.
Connell, tell us how you feel then.
Now, point at the doll. Where did I hurt you at?
When you said the shape-shifting dragon, and I'm like, when the fuck did he see my notes?
Right here.
I can't.
Right here. That's where I got hurt. Right here.
I can't see anything because I literally had a shape-shifting, a evil shape-shifting bronze dragon who was running around as an archaeologist stealing a bunch of shit. And the party finally decided to confront the guy. They had known beforehand that he's not really just the archaeologist who's been running around. He's actually a dragon who has an evil agenda, because fuck it, if you're a sentient creature, you have goals and plans, and I'm sorry, you weren't born with a little chip in your head going, I am a chaotic good person, because the book tells me all sentient proper dragons are of a certain personality type. We have no deviation in our personality ever. Fuck it, this is a villain. He's supposed to be interesting and more different. And that way probably goes, but he's a metallic dragon. Metallic dragons are all cool. Stop reading the fucking book. Don't assume that everyone you meet is going to be the same fucking personality and same idea. That's a stereotype, and it makes it easy on me because I don't need to think. Fuck you, you need to think. This is not kindergarten hour where everyone's a goddamn little cardboard cutout, and they all dance at your little morality play. The morality play is the fact that you're in a world where people fucking actually have goals. They aren't just sitting there waiting for you. They're sitting here going, I have not been aggroed yet. I have not been aggroed yet. I have not been. Oh, I've been aggroed. It's now combat time. I shall now do whatever I'm supposed to do according to my programming for combat. Me. And then when you don't need me anymore, I'm going to sit over here with a little question mark over my head saying, do you want to attempt negotiations? This is my generic programming. I am a shitty AI written by shitty AI people who live in California and don't know how to fucking write. Enjoy the video game.
Okay. I surrender. I know I lived in California, but fuck, I surrender.
Write better than Blizzard. That's your goal. If you're going to write a game, write better than Blizzard. Or at least take what they write and improve it if you're going to crib their notes.
Puppy!
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
You bring up a good point there that I'm going to circle back to.
After hearing Ty eviscerate, I had to go to puppy. Sorry.
Sorry, I'm hypnotized by the dog. Is it my turn?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm quite
Let Colin go. I'm just joking around. Let Colin go. It's his turn.
Okay.
All right. So
You got something?
I mean,
the end of the
you had volunteered to follow Kai, and I wasn't going to stop you.
no, it's fine. It's fine. I can actually, I can play along with this. All right. So, in the first chapter, at the end of the first, you meet the first of the bad guys. It might not be the big bad guy, but it's definitely one of the hench monkeys. So,
Do they have bananas?
no, they have cigars.
Well, then they can't be hench monkeys. If if they do not have a special attack that involves bananas, no hench monkeys.
They have bow ties and hats because bow ties are cool. Anyways,
Bowlers?
Do they have symbols?
all right. Let's get back on topic. Let's go. So they're fighting that guy, and I kind of make notes. Have I killed anybody yet? No. Original. They're all kind of happy. Okay, they're all happy. So, I learned this trick after being in his his camp. That's just a weird angle. Jade's campaign when something happened, but I now do this at the first level, at the first one. You got that guy right there. So, in Rise of the Rune Lord, it is stated that the first group of bad people they deal with at Hilltop, the goblins at Hilltop. You don't necessarily have to have the players kill them. They have the option of getting away, and coming back could be a nuisance. What if they kidnap one of the players? The sorcerer goes wibble, wibble, wobble. A portable hole opens, or a dimension door, or whatever. And all the players are, I'm down to my last. Come on, guys, we can make it through it. Suggestion. Come to me, my dear. Grab Biff. Gone. Oh, no. He took Sally. Well, that's the end of tonight's campaign. I see you guys in about 2 weeks. Yeah, about 2 weeks. Okay. Everybody have a good night. Wait, what? That's where we're ending it? Yes. I have not only just fucked with the player's mind, I kidnapped a character, and now they have to sit on it for not 1 week, but 2 weeks. Could you imagine, Shadow, having to only get to play Bruce's game twice a month and have something like that happen? You'd be madly annoyed. My players go home annoyed, but they keep, and I repeat this, keep coming back. So, yeah, that's what I do.
Sorry, I can't help but grin like a devil with that one. I have abused the kidnap PCs or NPCs to use against the party later. I love that trope. Can't help it.
I take notes.
All right, Shadow, to you. Let's ratchet up the tension, shall we?
Okay. Well, for ratcheting up the tension, I got 2 things I usually rely on. That's slaughtering NPCs with one-shots. Just, what do you mean our clerics are dead? Our troops are dead? Well, because the Lich went at them first. You kill the little guys first. Boom. That's a show of power. Or traps. And I don't mean there's a chest with a trap on it. No, I mean you're in a room and portcullis just came down over the doors and it's starting to fill up with water. Classic trope, right out of the DMG. And if you're thinking where are the skeletons, wait a couple of rounds, they'll show up next.
Oh shit!
Well, if you're gonna do that, you might as well throw the G cube in there too.
Hey, that's the way my thing.
I'm just going by the illustration of the old DMG. I could pull it out, but trust me, you don't want me whipping anything out right now.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I have dust of dryness. I have dust of dryness, so we're fine.
Fuck that.
Well, you asked for it, goddamn it.
Fuck that. Oh. Oh God. Okay. That's a discussion for an entirely different night.
Yeah.
That item.
No,
Oh my God.
I think you need to go on your rant about that.
Nah,
We need a Jade rant.
Oh my God, that's severely off topic.
Now, as for cliffhangers, I have a couple of dirty tricks that nobody thought of. Well, at least one. I'm drawing a blank as I'm looking for that stupid picture because you guys irritated me with that. Because if you don't know the classic picture, there's something wrong with you guys because it's.
There's a lot of things wrong with me, but I mean that's beside the point.
No. Okay, now for cliffhangers, I usually use pieces of information and let them stew over the crucial piece of information between the end that night. Here we go. Can you see it? Because I can't see.
Yeah.
With my
Oh,
face.
God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I recognize that.
Classic. And that's black
Oh,
and
God.
white. Older than you
Oh.
are, Kyle, probably. But that's how it's done.
Crafty,
Next.
you bastard.
I've done that before.
Yeah, that's a great way. See, here's the thing.
Me.
With my regular group, which we don't get to hang out hardly at all right now, because of COVID and distance and things like that. It's been a few months since we've even been able to play over the phone, kind of thing. But one besides the information, like you finally figured out who's behind it or where you need to go next or whatever, so that it moves the story along. Yeah, we can all drink for that one. I tend to look at every game as the last game you'll play with new people, because you never know. These days, people are fickle, and with the average current games lasting 6-8 games, and that's it, and then they just give up for something else. I couldn't even begin to entertain that sort of a game. If you're not in it for like a year, written in blood, then I'm probably not the game master for you, because I will come to your door. I'll find a way and bring my dice and my books and sit on your doorstep until you're ready to play. The other dirty trick I use for a cliffhanger to get people to come back is, okay, you've beaten the monsters, you've killed the big bad, which never really happens because the big bad is always one step away to keep them coming back. If you ever let them kill the big bad, the game is over. Unless you want to do that end of the Lord of the Rings where they come back to the Shire and clean that up, or Babylon 5's last season. Nobody wants to stick around for that part of the campaign. It's either over or it's never going to be over, and that's the mentality. I prefer that every game is just a stepping stone to the next game. I don't care if you're 20th level and there's nothing left for your character to do, then start a new profession. Or we'll make shit up.
There's always a bigger fish.
Right. But the dirtiest trick I use is you've defeated the monster. You'll have to come back next week for the treasure. I tend to give out Monty Hall style treasure piles. I have no problem with giving you more than you can carry home. When you kill a dragon in my game, it's not going to be a baby dragon. It's not going to be a young adult. It's going to be an ancient, monstrous, gargantuan, whatever the fuck they call it, the biggest dragon. You're never going to see the little ones unless you're in the big one's lair. The little ones hang out under the protection of the big one. If you kill the big one, then you get a mountain of treasure. Literally, as per the old monster manual, the average gigantoid dragon is going to have hundreds of thousands of each kind of coin, all the way up to gold. You're not going to carry it out. That's the big problem. You might take all the magic goodies and leave all the coins behind because all of your portable holes are full.
Because fuck copper.
Well, no.
That is
You throw
a huge mistake.
Slide a portable hole underneath all the money. Done.
If you're going to tell me you're going to leave 50,000 gold pieces in copper behind, you just lost 50,000 XP as well.
That's old school. That's not current way of thought, though.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about how the current shit is running.
Matter.
Yeah,
It
that's
doesn't
how I.
matter. I mean, you're leaving gold on the table in theory. Yes, I completely agree with what you're saying.
The mere fact that you could flood an economy with copper and take it over should be the idea. What you could do with 50,000 in coin is monumental. You could build a small castle. You're going to just leave behind a small castle?
Actually, for only 5,000 gold pieces, which is what you're not really seeing, a lot of a castle. I can actually start giving you
Again, guys. Again, you're going by new rules, not old rules.
No.
You wanna go
I know old rules. You're still not getting much out of it. You're still
out
not
of 50,000 gold? Out of 50 grand?
No. You didn't say gold pieces. You said copper pieces, and no, you're not very far on copper.
I said 50 grand in copper.
You're still not getting much out of an actual castle. You get a small keep. Nothing you can really you can base a
summer chateau, whatever the fuck. Considering my character never had a hovel to piss in, it's a lot of money.
I will happily start pricing you out a 50 grand castle in second edition rules, and I'll get back to you on your construction estimate on what your castle will probably be. It won't be much, but you'll have something.
Cool. I'll have a place to, have my mistress shack up when I'm, in that part of the country.
True.
So no. All you need is a portable hole. You're fine.
See,
Hey, real quick, do you guys know how to keep somebody alive in a portable hole and still carry it around?
Yes.
Bottle of air.
Bottle of air.
There's actually simpler, cheaper method.
Having their, I know how to keep them alive in a bag of holding. You put their entire body up until their head in the bag of holding. You tie it off loosely, so only their head.
I don't know if this would fly in your guys' game, but back where I got my start, the typical trick was to get a 10-foot pole or a 10-foot tube. Actually, I think it would be like maybe 11 feet, and you put the pole in the hole until it touches bottom. Then you wrap up the portable hole cloth and tie a little stringy around it, and you got air going in.
Yep.
But
anyway,
back to what I was saying with the treasure, let them know that, there's good stuff. Maybe even describe, there's a sword, there's a staff, there's all kinds of goodies, and then go, but I need to roll it all up or write it all out, and we'll continue next time, and you'll get an idea of what you found. Nothing brings them back more than their reward. No, they don't care about the monster. You tell them treasure's waiting next time, cool. Otherwise, you leave them, unless they're leaving their character sheets with you, they're going to take that character and go, oh, cool, I got all this crap, but I'm going to go into my other buddy's campaign with this character because whatever, for reasons, maybe, it doesn't matter. Never give them that opportunity. If they don't come back, they don't get paid. Plain and simple.
See, that's another concept.
I know it's kind of a big move, but yeah, portable hole snorkel.
It's just another concept is you just don't get later editions. You build a character, hypothetically, I build a character in Jade's campaign, a Pathfinder campaign, and I play it to 5th level. Bruce has got a campaign that's also Pathfinder, and he's like, well, we're already at 5th, 6th level. Go ahead and make the 6th level character. Could I bring the same character from Jade's to Bruce's? I mean, I don't.
You only need permission from one DM, and that's the DM you're going to.
Yeah. I mean,
if Bruce says no, what's he going to do? Take your character sheet away? What's he going to do? Go call up Jade and say, you can't let him in your game. And Jade says, why not?
Apparently, Kai says
frame the character sheet. Frame the character sheet.
What was that, Bruce? Oh yeah.
I was just going to say, you frame the character sheet that brought you all those good times. And you look at it from time to time, you smile, and you're like, we had good times, didn't we? We had some good combat, we had some good rolls. we went down to negative hit points once or twice. But you don't bring him from universe to universe because you're losing a lot of tone from one campaign going into another. The tonality and themes are usually enough to where you want to have a different character so you can have a different perspective on things. You don't want to keep the same character going through 40 years of RP. One, you're going to eventually be like, does anybody have a level 27 game going on? And most of us are going to be like, no, 9th level fucker. And then, yeah, sorry, Jade.
I mean, maybe.
I know.
Maybe.
But
no. See, Jade's okay though. Jade's okay on that because he's actually has it plotted out level by level. All he's got to do is just go up to that 9th level and write it down.
And that's the thing, Connell. If you are a man of scholarly history, all you have to do is just, like I said, frame that character sheet and just wait for Jade to say something like, I want to run a game again, but I don't want you to start at first level. Oh, does this mean I break the glass on that portrait in the hallway? Because I'd love to bring that character back. And
yeah, but the problem with that theory is, and I don't disagree with you on that one, Bruce, is hold on, Kai, let me finish this real quick. But no, is Jade is at the point where Pathfinder can go for a walk, 3.5 can go for a walk. Anything that rolls normal D20 system can take a walk. He has a brand new toy, a new Corvette that he wants to drive now. So I will have to take that level 27 character and rework it for the index system. So it will not be the same character because there will be modifications.
I could definitely make it work.
Go ahead,
You're
Kyle.
going to say something.
All right, what were we going to say, Kai?
I would tell you, obviously, and automatically no about bringing a character in from another campaign to mine because I have seen what other people consider a viable campaign and what they consider to be a entertaining campaign. And can I bring in my 12th level character to your campaign? And me, who has been running a slightly, I don't want to say lower magic, but everything has got a functional economy behind it, and everything has been made by somebody, and there's a functional world surrounding it. And then suddenly you come in with your fucking fairy dust shit out. Here's your sword that shoots 25 fireballs a day, and your necklace of amazing awesomeness because your previous GM was a fucking idiot and decided to run his own little bullshit universe, and I'm gonna have to figure out how to cram awesome, the most awesomest of badass awesome paladins is wearing a helm of brilliance and is coded in enough magic to make a Diablo character to go, oh fuck, you're geared for endgame, aren't you? But I'm only 12 level. My GM has only given me everything from the Monty Hall campaign, and I'm fucking tits off, toast awesome, and I'm like, I have no place for you. Yeah, we're a 12th level campaign, but the one player, he's got a +4 weapon. One. And everybody else is making do with what they've got because the world is making do with what they got. But I'm a fully legit certified, I've played in society games. I can justify where all of them came from whatever module I'm playing on. And me, that's nice, that's cool, I don't care. You don't fit. You don't fit my world. Do you know what you're asking when you show up? Much like how I'm not going to take a character who's been through my own world and go, hi, this player has been playing really well and is going to come into into your campaign. I know that you are a knuckle-dragging, dirt-eating, primitive, what you think the Dark Ages looked like, where everyone's rolling around in shit and you're the only clean motherfucker on the planet. But, mind you, mine might be a more interesting campaign where it might be the Holy Roman Empire, where things are actually doing pretty good, before things go wrong. This might be a more interesting world, but hey, I don't want to bring in primitive gunpowder into your weird fantasy. You just stripped it from you read the Cliff Notes Tolkien, and that's what you're running, motherfucker. Congrats. I'm not going to bring my game into yours. That's what because, well, my game style ain't your game style, your game style ain't my game style. I'll make a new character to fit your world, and you'd better make a new one to fit mine.
So I look at this whenever somebody says, "Hey, I've been playing this one character for many years, and I'd like to know if you'd let me play in your campaign with this character." Oh, that's cool. What's your character's name? Oh, he's from the Canon Films Group. His name is Branson. Wait, what was the last adventure he was in? Death Wish 5. No, you cannot bring in said character into my game world. I have meaning for my NPCs. They're not meant to die willy-nilly, just to be around you and provide you with plot urgency. I do not need this.
Bruce, can we run a Canon Films inspired campaign though? Like
I can. I will have to do that soon.
I would love to just run it doesn't have to be an actual Canon Films, but like as cheesy as Canon Films movies are. I want to play a game where it's like welcome to a city where they banned all guns, and now you are in knife fight city, and shit goes wrong from there. Please, I want to see a game this dumb. Please.
I will run for you Extreme Vengeance, written by the great Tony Lee. Extreme Vengeance is the ultimate in 80s cheesy film goodness. I will have to introduce you all to it one of these days. It is so filled with cheddar. You'll think it's straight Vermont, Wisconsin had a baby in your mouth.
Jade, I'm sorry. I'm responsible for this.
Okay, so has everybody gotten out what they want to get out on ratcheting up tension in the final encounter for an arc?
Actually, there's one last thing I have to say on the. It's actually 2 point. The point. Ratcheting the last encounter. They kill the big bad guy, right? They kill him.
Sure.
So the campaign
One of the big bad guys.
One of the big bad guys, right? And now it is going with what Shay was thinking, treasure. And there's a small lake around it that has all the treasures on the bottom because that's where they decide to keep the treasure. Well, unfortunately, there is a helmet made out of solid, what they think could be precious metal at the bottom. But it weighs 300 pounds to lift up. But they don't want to leave the cavern without it. But they don't have the strength to lift it out of the water because of mechanics that they put on themselves in games. So yeah, that's that putting treasure at the.
Oh, here we go. Here
comes the demonetization.
Yep.
Is that the singer?
You never saw Death Wish 3?
It's so bad. It was such a bad movie.
Were you able to block it fast enough, Baron?
No, because everything's rolling off of Bruce's. So, yeah.
There's only 8 seconds.
See,
it took
this
last
is also
time.
called after game tensions that we're doing right now to rack it up for the next encounter.
So, I guess so. After if the tensions can't get higher and the PCs, this encounter is not like the end all be all encounter. This isn't where Luke fights Vader and Vader tosses the Emperor down the tunnel or whatever it is in the throne room. This is the Empire, or this is the New Hope at the very end. The heroes are trying to defeat the Death Star. So in that encounter, there's several things happening in the background that you're not necessarily purview to. Han has left. He's out of the scene. He's not, in theory, not coming back. But now the heroes are in trouble. Because the enemy that they're fighting is far more powerful than they had truly realized. They just cannot comprehend how the enemy is this powerful. And you should probably do that too. Your BBEGs of whatever arc or act you're in, They need to be the end all be all of that arc. They need to be able to put screws to the players, put them in a position of if we fail, we are fucked kind of mentality. Like the players or the players' characters should always have that threat of, if I don't make this die roll, I don't know if I'm going to live to see the next round. That should be a thing. But to do that, you also have to be able to give them the treat, the way out. Now, that could be fleeing, that could be running. Fleeing, running, the same thing. But they could flee, they could use some kind of environmental mechanic to their advantage. Or you can bring Han Solo back to pick off Vader and his cronies to help the players out. So there's different methods of doing this. You can either, offer the way out, offer them, mechanical advantage, or introduce an NPC savior to help them through the day. If they all get wiped out, that's the end of that campaign, right? You don't necessarily want that as a GM. You want your players to succeed. You want them to be happy, to an extent, but you also want them to know that death is imminent. They could all get wiped out. But save for one thing, it ends that story. And if you don't want to end that campaign on a sour note, what do you have to do for it? Now, I'm okay with ending a campaign on a sour note. I'll wipe out an entire party at level 3. I'll wipe out an entire party at level 50. I really don't care. If my players fuck up hard enough at level 50, I'm just gonna clear the board. Don't bother me none. So, who wants to field the treat aspect of this, big encounter first? Who would like the go at that?
What do you mean by treat again? I'm missing something.
So, the three T's of encounters are timers, treats, and threats. So the timers are when time runs out, X happens. X might be the Death Star charging up and blowing things away. The threat is obvious, the enemies. The treat is not treasure. The treat's not treasure at all. It's mechanical advantage or some kind of advantage that players can use to help them in the scenario. That's what the treat is. I know that there was a little bit of mixing of terms last week when I said treat, but the treat is, Han Solo coming in and dive bombing at the TIE fighters on Luke's ass. It can be, the shotgun passed across the room from another player, because it was mounted to a wall. It's some kind of advantage within the encounter space that players can take advantage of. That's what a treat is. Based on the theory, there should always be some kind of way the players can, find something, do something to allow them to succeed, not necessarily easily, but they should be able to succeed because they're supposed to be the big damn heroes. And if they don't, and they don't use their, meat brains, they're probably going to get wiped out. And that's fine. And if they don't want to think about their encounter space and they just want to brute force their way through it, they absolutely deserve to get wiped out. That's my opinion. So, who wants to field this one? Open season here.
I'll go.
Okay, go for it, Shadow.
Okay, go for it.
I do one of two things. Now that that's cleared up, I either put something, like you said, the shotgun or whatever, something in the previous room, or even weeks or days or months ahead of time, that without this key, when you get here, you're doomed. You better really pay attention to everything that I hand out. Just because I hand out a lot of crap, oftentimes when I give out treasure, I'll put a star by an item on a list. I'll say +2 sword with a star. And, immediately they're thinking, oh, cool, it's intelligent. I'm like, no, okay, well, we'll pay attention to this. There's something about it that, you need to do a little research. And if you don't do the research, I might throw in another clue because you're about to enter the room where it's necessary. Maybe I'll put in a painting with that sword being wielded by somebody or something like that. and they'll be like, oh, crap, we left it at home. Okay, let's go back. Or I'll do the old cliche of something akin to the chandelier. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Okay.
Yeah.
Whether you're going to swing across the chandelier and do an arrow Flynn, or whether you're going to cut the rope and drop it on the bad guys, something like that. It doesn't always have to be a chandelier, but I knew if I said chandelier, you guys would all basically get the idea. It could be, throwing a vase. It could be, lighting the curtains on fire. It could be any number of things in the room itself that should act as some sort of force multiplier. And that's it. I figured someone would grab those ideas if I didn't get them out quick. So, Connell, you're up.
Realizing people from my Monday campaign do watch this because I got some of the things I've said in the past were quoted to me this past Monday, which made me kind of giggle. But with that being said, the person who's watching basically knows what I'm up to, so I'm not going to, I don't have to worry about too many spoilers. In their items, in their things that they carry with them, they in their adventures, they find these books that are cursed. They're part of they have sins attached to them. Greed, lust, pride, wrath, so forth and so on.
Deadlies.
The sins, which is, part of the game aspect. You put them all together and it becomes one big book of naughtiness. But each one of these books could power up one of the players. We're in a bad way. We're about ready to get our completely pushed in. If I take this book up, I will have enough juice to put that bad down. But here's the rub. There's the curse. There's the cost. Nothing is free in life. There's no such thing as a free lunch. So, with that being said, they pick up the Book of Wrath, and one of them reads from it. They're always angry, uncontrollably angry. Greed. They will steal from their party members to make sure that their pockets are always lined. And with so on and so forth with all the rest of the item, with all the other sins. So yeah, my characters in theory have a way to get themselves out of any horrible sticky situation, but is the juice worth the squeeze? That's my treat, because treats can also lead to cavities.
A very good point. All right, who wants to field
wow,
that next?
So you're asking for a treat, that thing that's going to get them out of trouble. That should be literally the centerpiece for what they're doing. Like, if the party found out that, let's just say, an evil organization is building a first trader, an airship that's on par with a first trader, not one of these little gas bag pieces of crap that it's like, hey, it's a sewed together piece of garbage and we're gonna fly out there with a ballista. No, it's like HMS Victory getting ready to go out there and fly and beat the crap out of you because I like it. Because I like certain images and a massive ironclad that flies will be what you're going to get. So the party's fighting on top of it, and if they remember, oh wait, we're on top of this thing. Maybe we could, I don't know, use it. That's a treat. That's here. Remember where you're fighting on? Oh yeah. Much like how I had a bunch of, in an old campaign, I had some players literally realize, wait, we're fighting on top of a lobotomized giant pterodactyl that is being used as a mobile base by the enemy, right? Yeah, it's alive, right? Well, yeah, it's a living creature. And then the player goes, but it's got no will because it's lobotomized, right? Well, it's got a will save. Yeah, of course it's got one. And the player literally goes, everybody jump off now. And the party just jumps off there, and they're like, what are you going to do? And the wizard, well, I'm going to turn the giant pterodactyl to stone. You're 4,000 feet in the air, right? I'm going to die. I understand that. But, and like, well, don't you? And one person's like, don't you have feather fall? No, I don't. I didn't memorize that because I didn't think we were going to be fighting on the back of a pterodactyl. And then he's like, oh, wait, I forgot. Boom. Hey, bad guy, yeah? Can you fly? The bad guy, no, that's why I have a flying pterodactyl. Well, we're both dying now. And everyone's like, oh. And literally the party like sitting here like watching the wizard and the big bad evil guy go crashing off into the horizon as the bird is now a very bad glider and falling at a forward velocity in his nice little trickery arc. I'm sitting here going, now, how many seconds of death until death do you have? And the wizard is like, this is worth it. I'm going to die, but it's worth it. And it was a beautiful moment of the players going, wait, I remember where I'm at. Boom, do something, yay, boom. And yeah, the wizard died. It was great, but he goes, it's the best flesh to stone spell casting I've ever used. And I'm like, do you want to be brought back? No, I want to stay dead, knowing I did this. Fair enough, player. Fair enough.
So you were playing Ark?
Almost. Kinda, not really.
My question is, how do they bottomize? Granted, it's always better to have a bottom in front of you than having a full lobotomy, but that's my opinion.
Look, we have more time. I will explain to you the entire evil villain scheme for that campaign that it ultimately led to this giant creature being lobotomized and turned into a flying machine. A flying machine.
Okay. I mean, you were saying it. I'm like, he's a smart man. I know he knows what that means, but something here doesn't make sense.
What? The evil villain goes, I don't want to have to fight a monster that's got intelligence. I just wanted to be able to follow my controls and use it as a mobile base. Yes. But it was a fun way for the player that player to realize where he's at, what the situation is, listen to how I'm describing things, and then go, I bet Blade has not thought this out yet. And here's me. No, I haven't thought about this. And he's like, we're all gonna die now. And everyone else, oh, this is good. This is good. That's a good way of doing things.
Yeah.
Jade, you're muted.
I see that now. Thank you. I was going to say, Kai, it sounds like you need to put that onto your own channel.
Maybe eventually.
I'm trying to think of what sibling it was of JFK's. It was a sister of JFK's who was bottomized. I was going to name the pterodactyl after her. I can't think of it at the current moment.
Anyway, so Bruce, your party is in the final act, and they're fighting the big bad, and they're on the verge of losing. What can they do to save themselves?
Typically, what I'll do is I'll wrap up a combat round. If they're getting their ass handed to them, I take a 5-minute break. Guys, bio break. Go take a pee. Go get some Coke, some nicotine, some whatever you need. Some Mountain Dew. I don't care.
Bruce,
Yes.
do you really want their Coke dealers showing up at your house?
This is San Antonio.
Just checking.
Okay. Pay no mind to that strange laboratory 2 doors down. Anyway, so I send them off for a bio break. You guys go get yourself reset. And I hope during that time they do lots of communication on their phones to each other with like, oh my God, Sugar Ray Leonard's got us on the ropes. We're about to die. We need to figure out what's going on. And they need to figure out a winning strategy. They have 4 minutes and 30 seconds left. And they do that. That's what I do to them. And then what I'll do is I'll start ripping into my dirty trick books. And if the players can't get out of the dirty trick book, they're dead. And it was nice gaming with all of you. But that's it. And that's how that will end. If they couldn't pull it out in the final, if they couldn't get it out in the finals, I can't help them. I'm not there to facilitate them to get a participation trophy. You get no red beret. You wash out and and your kin will be notified of your passing. That's what will happen. I will give you a chance to have some teamwork. I don't like it when I'm at the table and all the players are table talking their tactics. I'm like, you can only talk for 6 seconds or you can do your actions. That's it. You can't be doing this table talk bullshit. Please, I need you to respect the table. If you're going to start doing that, my characters, my NPCs are going to get 19 intelligence and they're going to start using their super tactics. You'll have fun. If you do that, now I don't care if you use your phone and you're sly about it and you guys don't broadcast to me what you're doing, because the illusion of this is necessary for both at the table and online play. But I need you guys to at least talk to each other. I'm giving you 5 minutes. Figure it out. And so I give the players their time, and either they will have something that will force me to roll a saving throw, and my dice usually are horrible until Chris reminds me that I need to roll a save versus his fireball, which is usually pretty weak. And then I'm like, haha, I rolled a 19. I wasted it for you. But typically, whenever there's something going on, the penultimate battle, the players are, if they're taken and they're getting rocked, I'll usually wrap up a combat round and be like, I need a bio break. I need an intermission because this is really too good. I don't want to plow through a combat for 15, 20, 30 minutes and stomp my players into the curb. I want them to have a chance to where they can win. Because my NPCs, as much as my NPCs matter to me, the dungeon master, my NPCs don't go home and punch pillows and get frustrated and say my entire weekend sucked because I played a game and we all died. Multiple times. We all died. And I don't like it when I lose. My NPCs don't scream that. They don't say that. I don't have a problem. When my NPCs die, their period of time is over in my head, and that's it. My players, on the other hand, might not come back to my table if I just effortlessly stomp them into the ground and squash them like grapes and eat their eye jelly and smear it on my avocado toast. They might not come back. So I need my players to at least have a fighting chance. Go ahead, take 5 minutes. I have to get this chicken tendy in my mouth. I got to do something.
That's one big chicken tendy if it's going to take you 5 minutes.
You've never seen me caress and lovingly play with a chicken tender.
I'm absolutely
Six tenders.
Chicken tenders and honey mustard are a thing. The only way you can improve that is to have an appetizer of those big salted pretzels, not the little crunchy ones in the bag. No, one you have to prepare in an oven or a deep fryer. That's the only way it works.
That sounds pretty damn good.
It does. And
I have some. I have some in my freezer.
I just bought some pretzels yesterday because I was like, I need pretzels. I need fucking pretzels. Game is this weekend. I need pretzels. So that's what I'm going to be eating. And I'm going to be enjoying that at the point where you guys go from the word go, because this entire campaign Saturday, you guys have lit the forge at the Temple of the Giants for Prometheus, and now the Giants are made aware of your presence within their holy sanctum. Oh, let us go see what is going on. So I really want to see how this campaign goes. This is like the midpoint in our game. You guys are like 9th level, maybe hinging on 10th. And I think you guys have a chance of success, of succeeding, of living. And there's going to be an opportunity for you guys to continue play, even if you fail. But it's going to be from a position of real weakness that requires ingenuity. And I'm going to need you guys to play like the scrappy bastards you are, so you don't have to go to that reset level. So you don't have to go from that position of, I'm John's cousin, and I'm here to avenge him and his entire party's death. I don't want that. I really don't want that. That's just my own perspective. Maybe I'm greedy. I don't mind doing PPKs, but if I do, I want them to be a lesson, or I want there to be a reason for it, and I don't want it to be just kind of in vain. Like we stopped this campaign that was like a year and a half in the making so far. We're halfway done, and one of the party members said, "I'm opening a portal. Where does it lead?" Fuck. You teleport in a giant room filled with gold coins, equal to that of the intro to Scrooge McDuck diving through his own treasury. But instead of Scrooge McDuck emerging out of the coinage, it's red scales and a set of golden tinged eyes with vertical irises. I've never smelled you in here before. And just let the players shit themselves. Because they should. How does that go? How would that work?
Fucking smog. Yeah, that works. So all you in Bruce's game, pay attention. Look for those little things that might help you out.
I'll be doing what I can
to
run a fair game. And guys like Sean I get criticized from him justly because I don't do full immersion RP, which is really not how I don't think you're supposed to run that game. I think you're supposed to kind of keep it on a level where I'm not going to talk too loud to where you can't enjoy the sound of the popcorn being crunched between your teeth. I think you need to have that level of disconnection for a game like Pathfinder or 3.5. We're not playing Amber Dice's role playing or Traveler. There's a marked difference between those two games and Pathfinder 3.5. The level of crunch separates it. I would say Index Card RPG is a more role-playing intensive experience. You're naked.
It is what you make of it.
Jade, you're naked. You only have the items on these index cards. And other than that, the player has to facilitate the character. Unlike Pathfinder, which a lot of players try to play the sheet. They try to play the character itself.
You're naked and afraid.
I mean, yes, Index Card RPG, you are your character is their equipment and their class. Like that is very much true. There are no levels. There's only what you can carry. But at the same time, yes, that's going to facilitate more role play, but you're still going to get your mechanically crunchy players in there who really just are there for the mechanical crunch factor. And there is plenty of crunch in an Index Card RPG, but it's on the player side, not the Game Master side. Game Master couldn't care less about their numbers.
See, here's Shauner just put a things on there saying D&D is not role playing. Well, what I understand from when watching from let's say Call of Cthulhu, you almost need a thespian degree from a college or a junior college to go to play some of those games, because those people are acting. They're not role playing. They're acting. Compared to,
but again, that's not D&D. That's Call of Cthulhu. It's
right.
Game engine.
But even
to which I responded to Shauner, because I'm curious, could it be if everyone agreed to role play the whole game? And by agreed, I mean, did the research, learned how to play, more up to Shauner's standards. Could you? I personally think that you can, and have played with very good role players in the past who I would wager would be up to Shauner's level of role playing.
So I need to go take 6 years and learn Tolkien's Elven language.
No, that's
or Dwarven.
That's a line of crap. No, you don't need to. I think you really need to just get into the spirit of being in character and not having it up, but at the same time using your mind more than your eyes and your dice. Immerse yourself, use your imagination, at every opportunity and forget about the numbers and forget about the rolls and just be there in the moment as if it was you
and don't
do your best.
I almost want to say
this is advice for players more so. Don't think as you think about the next move. Think about the next move as your character sees it. You have all of the meta knowledge. You know what everyone at the table's doing. You know what the enemies are capable of. You, the player, knows that. Your character may not. This is slightly off topic, but I think it's an important thing to say and get out there is play the character, not the player.
Yep.
If you want a role play experience, play the character. If you want to roll, and I mean roll dice as your character, that's all you want to do is just roll dice as a player. Fine. Find a game that suits that. Find a game that's kick in the door, kill everything that moves, and take their shit. If that's the way you want to play. Both methods have merits. Some people find the rolling of dice and killing everything that moves within a mile cathartic. Good for you. Go play those kinds of games. If you want an experience where you're really getting into your character and you're thinking the way the character sees, the character sees the world in a way, and you can think through what their actions will be because they see what's around them and they're reacting to their environments. That's another type of play. I think that's more of what Shawner is about is, what does your character do? What does your character say? What does your character think? Not what do you, the player, think? Because
I think it also
two different
helps.
aspects.
He brought up something a while ago, I forget which video, where like with difficulty checks, he's sort of converted numbers into words. Like hard means you need it to this level difficulty. So if I, as a dungeon master, says that's going to be a toughie or that's going to be hard, you already know what you need to roll. We don't have to. You just tell me that you did it. I don't care what you roll. Just tell me you did it or you didn't. Same with rolling to hit. That's why I think Traveler works really well because it's really kind of a compact gaming rule system. If you take out all the fluff, I mean, I remember the old, basic Traveler books, which are sitting right here, which I would probably run if I actually ran a Traveler game, just because it's so simple, maybe even akin to your index card game, where everything has just been boiled down to kind of as simple as possible, so you can get more into it without having to go look up all these different rules, which to me I absolutely have learned to despise over the years. The simpler the better. Doesn't mean it's not crunchy, just sort of convert it back into words and have your own little lexicon or dictionary of terms that mean what the numbers mean, so you're not just it's not Math Finder. It's role playing, and I'm sure it could work for just about any game if you took the time and effort. I know with Bruce's game there are players who would absolutely leave the game if more role playing were introduced. I get it, that's fine. Someday they're going to look back and wish maybe that they enjoyed it more than just numbers, because for me, when I look back on games, there were rarely all those those natural 20s or the natural 1 moments that stand out. It's what resulted because of the game and the encounters and all those things. It's rarely the numbers. It's really the events. And I hope more people will kind of remember that. Dude, my son, that's something caught in my throat.
And it's an interesting, and I agree with what you're saying. And I just read what Shauner's put. It's about, hold on, to verify, to make sure I'm reading it correctly. If you are always just doing percentage rolls and initial rolls and it takes away from role playing. It's, that's that, granted, that is a quarter of Dungeons and Dragons or most of the Pathfinder, whatever, because of the combat and searching for things. But it depends on the campaign. You also have to talk your way through some shit. There is actual scenarios where you have to deal, and there's no dice being rolled. I've had several recently nights where I don't think anybody picked up the dice and they had to talk through what was going on with the mayor, with the governor, with the lords of the area, or whatever, for the campaign to go on.
We are at the 1 hour and 50-minute mark, and Aaron, what kind of treats in your final encounter of an act? I'm getting back onto topic, by the way. What kind of treats or things do you offer your players in the final confrontation of a major arc?
Truthfully, what I like to do is kind of a bait and switch, and it does irk some players, but it does get them coming back for more. They're going after the big bad, the one that they've had the target painted on the entire time. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they kill him. And they're like, yes, we finally won. Only to find out he was just a lieutenant. He was a pawn. So therefore, there's more to do. You don't have to. It just with my whole thing is what you know or what you think you know, you don't know, and there's more. So, and that's the big thing is keeping it going, because you can kind of throw that twist in there of it. We okay, cool. We got rid of this guy. But he was only a lieutenant, or to use another term, a capo for the godfather of this organization, or for there's many different tendrils in the. Let's see, how did Kai put it when we were talking about that off stream? Oh yeah, the Strippers Guild has very different tendrils that just go everywhere, and it's like a hydra. You can cut one head off, but you're not going to kill it, because it will just come back with 2 more heads. And what does everybody love?
Porn? Wait, what?
Strippers Guild.
Okay, I made Jade turn off his cam. That was
I wasn't even paying attention, and I got that one right. Sorry, I got a new product here. I got a new spine melter here, and God knows my back has been killing me for a week solid, and I'm just like.
No, when you started off, what does everybody love? I'm thinking of the Avenue Q song, Porn.
No, it was actually a wrestling thing, but that's okay.
Oh yeah, from House what do you want?
What does everybody love? Head. Okay, but yeah, remember, $20 is $20. Anyways, going on. But basically, you give them this problem goes much deeper. It's not necessarily a straightforward answer to get rid of the evil and corruption. It has spread over the years, and it is entirely all-consuming underground. So, yeah.
That's actually one of my favorite trope-ish things to do. Is my big bad is gearing up to do some kind of ritual for whatever purpose, might become to get more power, to become a lich, or to become this or that or the other thing, or summon their old god, and they only need one thing left to complete their ritual. The party doesn't know what it is that they need, but they're there to interrupt the ritual. But when the dust finally clears and they run their sword through the BBEG, they've realized a little too late what the big BBEG really needed was a final sacrifice for the ritual, and any sacrifice would do. That's my favorite.
Jade, I pulled that off. I pulled that off once also, but what the sacrifice required was virgin blood, and guess which paladin bit the dust during the game?
Oh no!
All right, Kai, you have to read that on stream.
Yeah, Yeah, no shit.
I'm sorry. Because Shadow's not looking at Discord right now. So
Yeah, no, I wish I could, but
Your castle has been built.
For you?
Oh,
Yeah,
your
go ahead and
castle has
read
been
it.
Built by Kai.
Okay. So you asked for a 50,000 gold piece castle made from what I can only describe as the most basic of stone, and it is the most basic bitch castle you're going to get. It is your basic throne room. Welcome to a pretty much a wooden chair with a nice pillow on a wooden platform. Yeah, you and 20. You can look about 1.5 feet taller than over 20 people who are in this room. Congrats. Basic trophy room, because all of you are all amateurs and you're going to keep trophies and you want to have something. It's nothing more than grandma's curio cabinets on the walls. Throw in your little trinkets and you're getting actually bought at the at the store. At that roadside attraction, of the world's biggest yarn ball. You need a reminder of that. This is where you put it. 2 basic workplaces for 2 professions. Your rogue training area, because your rogue needs to not be useless, and he might be able to train himself someday. Combat training area, because your fighter wants to go prove he's a bigger dick than anybody else, so he wants to fight all day. There you go. You got that place. Your basic tavern, because you want to drink in safety, after a long day of adventuring. Your basic study, because someone's got to do the bills, and that's where you keep. I do the office work. 3 basic storage areas: dry goods, your inevitable where you keep all the alcohol at, because your dwarf wants all the drinking, and basic bitch materials that you need to keep the place running. Your stable, because somebody's got a horse, might keep it somewhere. Basic smithy, because somebody's got to fix something. Basic magical lab, because, and mind you, all of this is basic. It's like, do I got any cool tools? No. You have a beaker and some books and some paper. Congrats. There you go. Basic library, because you got to put all those spell books you've looted from somebody from somewhere. Kitchen, because you got to eat. Gatehouse and Barbican, because the peasants are going to come attack you eventually, because you're a really shitty landlord. Basic common room, so that way everybody can sit around and look confused, before they go anywhere else. Your basic chapel, because the cleric needs to be somewhere. Basic bath, because everyone wants to be clean. 6 bedrooms, and don't think these are like master bedrooms where you have lots of room. No, this is bed, dresser, and someplace to hang your shit up. This isn't comfortable. This is, you're not getting rained on in any tent. Congrats. A barracks, because your followers need a place to sleep for all 20 of them. And a basic armory. I don't know. Do you actually take your stuff off and store it somewhere? No. Here's a place for it. And 2 basic servants' quarters, because this place has got staff, which, by the way, you haven't paid for, because you have approximately 5 servants, a horse groomer, a smith, and a cook, who all need to sleep somewhere and need pay. Which, by the way, since you only have 4,000 gold pieces in spare cash left over to pay for everything, which might last a while until you start looking at the servants' paychecks, and then you start realizing that money goes away really fast, and you want to pay well the guy who's making your food for you, because you don't want to wake up dead. There you go.
that's not bad. You did take some liberties that I would have ignored. Plus, you assumed that that's all they had, and that I'm guessing that it was basically a basic generic fighter who had the money and was building a small castle. But not bad.
I was assuming
that's damn sure.
I was assuming that this was the party reward is pulling for a party basic bitch starting castle. Like, this is a castle that, boy, the Romans might have stored us up in an emergency somewhere and gone, this is good. And
I would have left that
response
chapel
to
and the workstations. I would have had them outside. That's somebody else's problem.
Oh, I know, but but this is a party, and you know you got at least one alchemist in your party who's sitting here going, "I am making your potions." You know, another guy is going, "I'm writing your fucking scrolls for our thing." You know, somebody else is like, "I'm making all the thing. I'm sitting here making all of your arrows for that way." But you know, players like to craft, and therefore,
Yeah, you know what? At the price of arrows, I'll just have the local arrow guy come and make a visit once a month, and I think I'll be fine.
and
Same with the a lot of the other choices, but they're not bad, not bad. I'm really impressed the fact that you did it in about 8 minutes.
I did it in about an hour. It took me about an hour to do it all. So,
Really?
Stronghold Builder's Guide.
yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Wait.
The
How
second
is
ed
that?
Stronghold Builder's Guide.
Oh, see.
And I'm also referencing also the Castle Builder's Guide from Second Edition too, which also
Yeah,
has
see, I wouldn't touch those books. I'd be going strictly by AD&D, where the prices I guarantee are a lot cheaper.
right.
So that those were AD&D books.
Yeah,
Yeah, those were AD&D.
the Castle
Those
Guide. The
are
Castle
second
Guide-
edition. Second edition. I'm talking
from
first.
second. Yeah, the
Yeah. I don't touch both sections.
of wonders that. Yeah, trust me, I had that book open too, and going. This is kind of fun watching back and forth over between the two of them on how much everything costs. Yes, I was looking at the Blue Book of Retardation. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, so I posted the entire thing as a text note or a note file for screen sharing. God, my words tonight. So if you want to take a quick snap of that once Bruce puts it up on the screen.
As an archer, I think you're you said once a week or once a month on arrows.
Yeah.
No, try maybe once a week.
And a silver piece apiece, yeah, I'm pretty sure I could buy 1,000, and so that'd be fine.
So you're going to ruin the economy of the town over arrows.
I would.
I'll build it back up. The copper is just the loose coinage from said dragon horde.
I would have took that copper and made myself a throne of copper.
Yeah, nah. Get rid of that crap. You fight one of my dragons, survive it, and we'll talk.
I really
'Cause
like it out here. This is pretty cool, Jake.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'm just thinking of the arrows, just the price of arrows by themselves. Taking out the arrowhead, you got the felching, you got the stick, you got the woodwork to
The
make
wedding,
it.
the wedding,
The fetching. The
fletching.
fetching.
You were
at the-
saying something that was pretty nasty.
The fletching?
the fletching.
Yes, the feathers.
The feathers.
Yes,
That's called fletch. That's the fletching.
Yeah,
I heard it completely differently.
I thought I was saying correctly.
Well, because you're a dirty old man, but
Yeah,
that's
I
okay.
had
We
to
still
You
love
damn
you.
right. I'm not only the dirtiest, but the oldest here. So you're gonna have to, show some respect, guys.
All right, well,
Wait.
we are definitely past the 2-hour mark at this point.
I didn't mean to.
Oh, look at the time.
Okay.
It's like,
oh,
look at that time. All right.
Jade, I got to ask you, when are you going to start running your game again?
Man,
That's a good question.
That's a-
I like that
that's a
question.
great question. I'm still so, and nobody take this specifically one person. Don't take this too critically, but I'm looking for my S tier players, my A tier players.
Oh, Jesus
B tiers.
Christ. We're all out.
Yeah, we're all out.
Jay
Well,
just-
okay.
Jay
Guys,
Scott
Jay,
Arabic.
Guys,
Have you been watching a bunch of Jay Scott videos?
So I've got my own ranking.
So we're all
system of what
relegated
I
already?
want.
We haven't even gotten a chance, and
No,
we're already
no.
relegated.
No, I haven't. That's something else. That we're talking. That's in the works and behind the scenes. Is maybe the 6 of us playing a game. One person of the 6 running a game. For you're all entertainment. Yeah, you out there in the YouTubes and Rumbles and wherever.
Interwebs.
Yeah, the interwebs. But no, my own personal game, I'm looking for players who are going to be able to help me shape the world space in the Bronze Era. And that's going to take certain kinds of players that I don't know I don't actually know them yet, because I haven't met a lot of players who are going to be able to think in that space, or without trying to bring too much meta into it. I want to keep it Bronze Age-ish, and it's going to be a slow build up to the Iron Age. And there's not a lot of players out there who can really, focus in on that. So,
are you in the same area you're in? Hold on, I do recommend Kai though. I do recommend Kai because I like his brain.
Do you plan on running the Bronze Age collapse?
Oh man, see it's a tricky thing, because it's so high magic. So they've been stuck in the Bronze Age for the last 4,000 years because they just rely on magic to solve all of their problems.
It's the first age. I'm okay with this.
Aaron,
you just described literally the first stage of Exalted right there.
Happy?
Yeah, basically. It is kind of the first age of Exalted to a certain extent. But no, so it's going to take certain kinds of players to really jive into that kind of world and get into the headspace of that kind of world. It's also going to be extreme magic, like reality warping magic, which is the whole reason why they're still stuck in the Bronze Age, because, again, magic solves the problems.
I'll just try to hop into the campaign. I'll try to hop in this campaign when they hit not bronze, stone, bronze. What's the next one? Copper? Or is it copper before bronze?
If they hit copper after bronze, they went backwards.
Yeah, okay.
You slid backwards quite a bit. Yeah. No. So yeah, like I said, I'm looking for those players who are going to be able to think in that kind of environment, that kind of space, and in those directions, while still having access to exceptionally high, powerful magic. Granted, in the game, if you cast a spell that's above your pay grade, you're spending your health points to be able to cast it. You're going to burn through all of your mana and then start burning through your hit points to cast.
In the area that you live in, because I live in the same area, and most of the gamers I know from Just for Fun, the place in Bartonville, and the one in Washington, trying to get 5 players, you're looking at is going to be rough.
I have 3 in mind currently, so in the immediate area. I might have to move the game to online. I'm not sure. Anyway, so that's that's my own personal campaign. I am planning on getting it running, but I'm also working on other stuff, one-shots and such. I've got a one-shot tomorrow with 2 players that I'm hoping will work out so they can be in that S tier game. But beyond that, working more than 40 hours a week. So life. And now awkward silence.
Well, after realizing that none of us are good enough to be in his campaign, of course there's going to be awkward.
Yeah, I know, really.
To be my game.
No. You said S tier. You said S tier, and then you're like, I still haven't found them yet.
I'm not an S tier.
Well, let's see here. I haven't had Bruce in a game yet, and to find my S tiers, I have to run the one shots.
Yeah.
So I haven't had Bruce at my table yet.
I got you.
I'm not.
Yeah,
You just can't take our word for it.
Oh,
you've got to go through the application process. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
You got to get on the casting couch.
Look,
Whoa!
I know I'm really shit doing the S course. I can't get the S course license yet. Sorry.
No,
Okay.
no. What this is we've all been DMing and playing for years, but this is
here as well.
Wait. We've all been DMing, not as long as Shadow, but most of us have been DMing for a while. But this is minor leagues. What Jade is looking for is major league. So you have to get through the 15 years of education of DMing, then know your world history, but take out your world history to put into Magic history, but you also have to put back on top of your world history, your ancient history. So he's looking for major leagues, and we're all playing T-ball on this podcast. Thanks, Mike. I'm Jade.
Your words, not mine. No,
I mean,
I do want I want players. I would like really great players at the table, and I do want to run games, a one-shot or multi-shot game with all of you, but I do kind of want tryouts for that game, because I've had games fall apart on me in the past, games that I was really invested in seeing where it went, and it fell apart because of my players, not me. My players either went their separate ways. I mean, the games just collapsed because either the players couldn't get along with each other, or the players metagamed far too much for the the game that they were playing in. Like, oh, well, that's not how that would work. Well, that's how I say it works, because this is the game that I set up. Right. So I mean, I've had those problems in the past, and that's why I'm looking for those A and S tier players, because they're not going to be the problem players. Now, I'm not saying any of you would be a problem player. I haven't played with, I don't think I've played with any of you guys as players except Connell.
Yeah.
I think he's the only player I've had at my table.
Really?
So, I'm not saying you would be the
Really?
problem players.
Really?
Well, okay, yes, I have had you at
Really?
my table, but that was
Really?
That was our final, wasn't it? What's up?
Can we just say that outside of Shadow, I'm the only one who haven't actually played with it?
Yep, thanks.
Okay.
Yep.
Because you haven't been on the couch and you haven't given him $20 yet.
All right, let's wrap this up,
Bruce,
guys.
you haven't? Yeah, let's wrap this up.
I waited for you. You're on my goddamn channel. Way back in 2009.
Yeah, I was at your table. You weren't at my table.
No, you weren't. I didn't play at your table. I didn't have the ability because I don't think you were running it at the time.
I was running a game, but it wasn't with that group. It was with a separate group.
Okay, so let's wrap this up.
Yep.
Jay, help us out.
Yeah.
Kai's turning into a pumpkin. I need him to not.
Yep. All right. Well, I think that wraps up encounter building as a whole. We will be back next week with a new topic, and well, I don't know what next week's going to be about yet.
What's wrong with the classic hero? Why they suck? That's the topic.
Oh. My God, no!
Why Batman needs to stay home?
No!
So I was thinking maybe next week we start a new topic, and we have the other thing that happens a lot at tables is that you have a good group. Something happens, you need to replace one or two players. I would think a good homework assignment for next Thursday would be, why don't we come in with our best Matt Crafty sales game to grab somebody that we are looking for that would fit in a spot to play in our game.
Oh, I got that right now. You want to hold my puppy?
Yes.
See? And that's how it's done.
If I held your puppy, you would never get it back.
No, wouldn't.
That's okay. I got a spare.
I'll send you my address.
No, not. No, not.
Okay.
Papa?
So
I don't know this guy. He's scary.
I was thinking that would be a good topic because that happens a lot in games where you have a good group, you have 4 or 6 people, you want one more. Whatever that might be. How's that sound, Jade?
Yeah, I think that sounds fine. I realize I'm a bit of an elitist prick when it comes to the game I'm building, but I've been working on it for 15 years. I don't want it to just fall apart on me again, like the last few times I tried to run it.
Hey, Jade. I know a way you can guarantee that'll never happen.
This guy will ruin it.
Make a world book, immortalize it, and let everybody else do whatever the hell they want with it.
Yeah, I tried that. They didn't read it.
Well, try harder.
No,
Try harder.
someone might realize that what the map is by turning it upside down again.
Wow.
Oh,
Anyway, everybody have a good night. We're losing Kai, and we're already 15 minutes after a broadcast guaranteed.
Yeah, you got
All right, everybody.
15 minutes. Be sure to hit the like, share, and subscribe button. If you really like us, talk about us on Twitter. Talk to us. I apparently got my Twitter back, but I want you to follow Baron G Rock on Twitter. And Twitter, Baron, can you put your handle there in the chat so the players can follow you? Because that's going to be one of the main links I want for people to use to connect with us.
So Kai's holding Bruce.
and let me know if I can make this a thing. Do I have to keep this out, or can I hang this back up?
Put that back up. No one needs to see that.
Wait, where's your duster?
It's in the downstairs.
How hot
And
is
it's
it?
400 degrees. It's 400 degrees. You have to wait till winter.
Oh, by the way, Jade, will we be seeing you this coming Sunday, while we're talking Grave Peril? So, I get to help me defend the book from the guy above me. Hint, hint, he didn't care for a couple pages.
He needs help. He needs your help.
All right, guys.
Help me, Jade
All
Kenobi. I'm your only hope.
Yes.
All right,
Okay. I'll consider
everybody. We will see you next time. Make sure you do. I did throw the links in Bruce's. Links, everybody, if you're watching on mine, is down underneath. Thank you much, and we will catch you all next week.
Have a great night, everybody.
Night.